101 degrees, just barely still in the triple digits as we have the sunset out to the west in North Phoenix. Pinnacle High School, the spot for tonight's 6A matchup featuring the 2-0 Pinnacle Pioneers and the 1-1 Corona del Sol Aztecs. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Aztec Football, produced by the Varsity Sports Show. Paul Schultz along with Aaron Decker. And Aaron, a sort of a bounce back game, I think, is what the Aztecs are looking for tonight.
Absolutely. I think the story of the game is going to be that. How do the Aztecs come back from a 55 to 21 loss to Centennial last week? That's going to tell a lot about what your team can do, how they do it. It should be a good game.
And what would you say? I know will get to in a moment. We were able to chat with Coach Barrow before the game, but what do you think, just as a team perspective on all phases of the game, on all sides of the ball, kind of the message this week, and how you reset?
Well, I think Coach Barrows talked a lot about just getting the little things right, and that's what he talked about at the end of last game. And it's just how can all the little things add up in a game, and if one little thing doesn't work, the rest of the game probably isn't going to go your way. So if the Aztecs can do a lot of the little things right today on the passing game, the run game, on defense, they can stand a chance here against Pinnacle.
The Aztecs now taking the field as you hear some of the cheers over on the Corona del Sol sideline where our broadcast is set up tonight. And we will get ready to check in with head coach Jake Barrow.
Hi, I'm Aaron Decker with the Varsity Sports Show, and I'm here with Corona del Sol Aztecs head coach Jake Barrow. Coach, following a loss to Centennial, what were some things you focused on in practice this week?
We just wanted to clean some things up, be a little bit sharper defensively, improve tackling, getting more people to the ball. That was really important this week. And then offensively, a big point of emphasis was just being able to finish drives. We did a good job in some areas, big jump from week 1 to week 2. Now we need to put it all together in week 3.
Now, your team, a team that you've coached hasn't lost 2 games in a row since 2019. What is it that you do to make sure that your teams bounce back pretty well after a loss?
Well, I think we just, my staff's pretty good at identifying problem areas and trying to see what the root of the problem is, why we're not seeing the results we want on the field. And so I feel like this was a good week of practice. We did a good job addressing those areas of concern, and the players did a good job responding. We do play a good team, so sometimes it just comes down to execution, and tonight I think that's going to be the case again.
Absolutely, and focusing on this game, Pinnacle has 5 interceptions on the season so far. Your team likes to pass a lot. How do you plan for a team that matches up pretty well against what you do?
Yeah, I mean, they know we want to throw the ball. It's not a secret. That's something we do. So we expect they'll be prepared for it as well. We're just, we just worked with our receivers all week, identifying different coverages and different mismatches in their coverage, and when to do what in the reads. And Connor, our quarterback, Connor Ackley, does a nice job identifying things quickly pre-snap and processing information post-snap. So I think we should be okay, but we know they're good. They're one of the best secondaries out there, and we have to be sharp if we're going to do as well in the passing game as we like to.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Coach. And I'm Aaron Decker with the Varsity Sports Show.
All right, welcome back, everyone. That was our pregame interview with head coach Jake Barrow. And as we see the captains walk out onto the field, let's get to know the opponent for the Aztecs tonight's game. The Pinnacle Pioneers are 2-0 so far this season. Their week 1 matchup, a 19-10 victory in Las Vegas over Arborview. And then last week, a statement win, if you will, 49-19 over Tullison. So although the 6A matchup carries its own weight, I think it's safe to say that this is going to be yet another tough test for the Aztecs.
Absolutely. The Pioneers, they have an impressive run game this season. They're running the ball all across the field. It's going to be tough for the Aztecs defense to stop that run, I think. But if you can do that, I think you're going to have a chance to be able to, attack their passing and attack the run a little bit.
And to add to the information of the success they've had this year, if some of our viewers may be wondering, hey, that team sounds familiar from last year. The Pioneers were 9-5 and runners-up in the 6A championship game where they lost to Highland 37-26. So this team definitely knows how to win, knows how to compete, as do the Aztecs, who finished 8-3 last year, as we've referenced a couple times in the first couple games. But definitely an interesting matchup tonight.
And they're coming off of that win against Tolleson, that 49-19, that 49-19 win. So it's kind of the opposite of what the Aztecs are going through right now. The Pinnacle, is coming off a really high energy, high scoring game, and the Aztecs are coming off of that. Unfortunately, they were on the other side of that.
I think one thing that maybe Coach Barrow's looking to look for is we've seen in the first 2 weeks a lot of issues with what can be limited to one word in discipline, and that, for the most part, has to do with limiting penalties. So I think that will be one of our things to look out for tonight as we get underway.
One thing I will say, if you're a fan of the Aztecs or you're a fan of Corona del Sol, they were in a similar spot last year as well. They started the season with a win in the opening game and then lost 50-0 in their second game, and then rattled off 7 straight wins. So they can do it. They can come off a loss and do really well.
Brandon Holmes in the end zone with the catch. That'll bring it out to the 20, and that's where the Corona del Sol offense will take over, led by their quarterback, Connor Ackerley. Ackerley, the starter of both games so far this season. He's completed 51 attempts for 595 yards through the air, an average of 297.5 yards per game. Takes the snap, play action, throws left side, passes caught, receiver out around the 25-yard line. Jai Jones with the first catch of the game.
Those quick passes are going to be probably pretty useful in this game. If you heard in the pregame interview, the Pioneers have 5 interceptions already this season. That's more than the national average. So you don't want to turn the ball over. Connor Ackley is going to make sure that he does not turn the ball over. They love to pass here with the Aztecs. So the last thing you want to do is, if that's the type of stuff you do, do not get intercepted.
Jai in motion. Ackerley dumps it off to Mustachia, who's taken out of bounds around the 26-yard line. Mustachia we did not see in the second half of last game, but glad to see him back here as the primary back to start.
Absolutely, and I do think the Aztecs will need to find a way to get their run game going. If you get that run game going, the passing game is going to open up as well.
We saw him run a lot to start last game. Didn't necessarily work out for him. They've gone to a couple pass plays so far here. A handoff to Mustachia through the right side, out around the 30-yard line. And that'll be enough. Will it be enough? Let's see. Yes, it will. Move the chains. First down, Aztecs at the 31. Jai Jones lined up on the left side along with Zuri Glenn. Pass out to Jones is mishandled and falls incomplete.
One thing I do want to mention is, we've seen with the Aztecs, we saw it more in their first game where they scored 14 points in the first half and then they kind of weren't able to score again. I would say one thing people should really look out for, and what they probably want to work on, is being consistent throughout the game.
Ackerley in the shotgun, takes the snap, throws right. The pass is caught around the 40-yard line. Stays on his feet, out around the 45, still on his feet as he's stopped for forward progress around the 44 or 45. See if we can get a number on that receiver. It was hard to tell over there. Might have been Jai Jones again.
Yeah, going to Jai Jones early here and churning his legs and just keeping the play alive.
See Jones along with Dominic Ruiz, who were both targeted multiple times in the first couple of games. They're lined up in a trip set along with Zuri Glenn on the left side. Ackerley looks to throw. Evades the pocket, throws left, pass is caught. Jai Jones again.
That was a nice catch. He had Zuri Glenn wide open down the field, but keeps the play drive and the drive going.
The officials, some sort of discussion. Unclear if it was, in fact, a first down or not. And they will move the chains. That's enough for a first down.
I like this start for them so far, keeping the ball moving, staying on the field with your offense.
Ball on the 45, 1st and 10. Ackerley, quick pass to the right side. Pass is caught by Jai Jones. Dropped in the backfield just slightly. That'll be a loss of 1.
It does seem that an early play style for them so far is to be throwing quick passes outside, not going too deep, not risking the fact of putting your ball in danger of this defense.
Trying to wear, as we saw last game in the start, the run game sort of wearing on the defensive line. This time perhaps trying to exhaust the defensive backs with a lot of these pass plays. Shotgun for Ackerley, handoff. And a couple yards gained, call it 4.
The Aztecs like to pass it a lot. They like to pass, but if you can get both the run game and the pass game kind of going in a rhythm, you go down the field like this. You're not always doing the same exact thing so that defenses know exactly what you're going to do.
Be 3rd and 7 now from the 43. Mistachia still in the backfield with the quarterback, Ackerley, and trips to the right. Motion from right to left goes Ruiz. Snap, pass from Ackerley, caught, and brought down around the 43 or so. And that is Raiden Vinesbright, his first target and catch of the night.
Yeah, he's having a great 2 games so far. He's a top 20 wide receiver in Arizona in terms of receiving yards with 248, averaging 124 yards per game.
If our fans will recall, we saw him with that spectacular touchdown catch in the first game. And the defense jumps. That'll be an encroachment penalty.
Ball, encroachment on the defense. 1st down.
Little eager at the snap.
Sticking with Vinesbright real fast. That was his second longest reception. 95 yards last season was his longest.
So the penalty gives Corona del Sol 1st and 10 from the 32. Ackerley in the shotgun again. 2 receivers to each side, and he keeps it himself. Breaks through the line of scrimmage for a gain of 4. We've seen him take off a couple times, Ackerley, and that dual threat quarterback is such a nice thing to have for your offense.
Absolutely. He is 3rd on the team in rushing yards.
This time the handoff to Mistachia up the middle, and he's tripped up. Credit the Pioneers' number 5, Joe Day, for stopping him. There wasn't a whole lot of traffic there, and if there wasn't a defender that was able to get in the way, he might have gone into the end zone on that one.
Yeah, the offensive line had a great hole for him to go through.
So that'll give it 1st and 10 from the 19. Trips left. High snap over the head of Ackerley. He's able to grab it, and he's taken to the ground. And no flag appears to be called, although... And a flag now comes in.
Late flag.
Yeah, late flag, but that was one of those that I was like waiting quite a while to see that flag come in.
So we have
No, not yet. We'll wait for the officials to figure out what the call is here.
Yeah, I think the only people that hadn't made the call yet, because the referees in the stands made the call already, just wasn't the referees on the field yet. But we'll have to see what they call here. But they're picking up the flag.
So we have a personal foul, face mask by the defense.
So they do get the face mask call. And a big break for Corona del Sol on that one.
I mean, on Pinnacle's side, that's kind of the worst mistake you can make. You have this, Ackerley's far back on the field. He's probably got 15 yards that he lost on that.
You wonder maybe if the defender was a little worried seeing him take off on the last one, if he would have been able to escape. Wow, that is a tremendous break now as it's 1st and 10, or
But
maybe 1st and goal.
Earlier, what we were talking about, that versatility, that's a
Right,
threat.
yeah.
Defenders get worried about that.
And so that'll be 1st and goal for the Aztecs. Just under 7 minutes in this first quarter. They've taken a lot of time off the clock so far. A slight motion from the receiver. Ackerley looks to throw, has to roll out left, looks to run, and he does. Can he get to the pylon? He's in. Touchdown, Aztecs. Connor Ackerley with a rushing touchdown on a broken play puts Corona del Sol on the board first.
Great play from Ackerley. He had pressure coming out his right side.
A slight motion from the receiver. Ackerley looks to throw, has to roll out left, looks to run, and he does. Can he get to the pylon? He's in. Touch. You're able to score on the first drive and take as much time off the clock as they did.
Nearly half the first quarter.
The extra point attempt now from Luke Hawley. It's up and good. And just like that, Corona del Sol leads it 7-0. Take a quick break and return.
In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization.
Welcome back to Pinnacle High School. The Aztecs lead it 7-0 here on the Varsity Sports Show. And Malcolm Flynn getting ready to kick it away.
We were talking earlier about rhythm, of how you get your passing game and your run game going. In the macro of the game, there's also the rhythm of your defense and offense. Your offense just went down the field. They scored. They took up half the time. Now it's time to get that Pinnacle offense off the field.
The saying to keep your defense off the field as much as you can. We'll see if they can do that for themselves here on this opening drive of the Pinnacle offense.
And the Aztecs defense, I mean, in that first game, they held their opponent to 0 points. In that second game, obviously, we know how that went with giving up points. They're not necessarily a bad defense or anything like that. They just, when you're facing an opponent who has a lot of firepower, sometimes they're just more bullets in the gun, I guess you could say.
Well, I think we might see this when they line up against each other. They are perhaps mismatched in the size department when they line up against a lot of these other teams, but they are so incredibly tough because of the way they are coached and prepared in the offseason that doesn't matter to them a whole lot.
And this defense is going to have to, the Aztecs defense is going to have to focus on stopping the Pinnacle rush game. That's led by Matt Hughes, the running back for the Pioneers. He leads the Pioneers with a strong rushing game and 150 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Hawley kicks it downfield. It'll stay inbounds. A live ball as the receiver runs laterally and not able to get past the 5-yard line or so, and he's tripped up and tackled back there. Talk about a spark for the Corona del Sol defense. That will certainly do the trick, as Ty Seaver was credited with the tackle on that. Now we see the Pinnacle offense for the first time. Seen 2 quarterbacks so far this season for the Pioneers. Looks like it'll be Wyatt Horton to start. A pass over the middle is caught, brought down immediately by The Aztecs, number 16, Dominic Ruiz, who we heard on the offensive side, also plays cornerback on the defensive side.
And the Pioneers' run game is so threatening that play action that they're able to have is a weapon in of itself.
White Horton played in 2 games so far this year. 339 yards on 38 attempts. Horton, play action, scrambling, takes off with it. And he's brought down around the 31-yard line. And the credit for the tackle goes to Ty Abella, the 5'10 senior, listed as a defensive end and defensive tackle. Horton takes the snap, looks left, and throws left. The pass is caught after a leap into the air by Mason Hughes, the running back. What an athletic play on that one to give Pinnacle a first down.
He's not utilized in the passing game that much. That's just his 3rd reception for Mason Hughes. I called him Matt earlier, just kind of make that correction for Mason.
Handoff and tripped up in the backfield is Hughes. And I think Abella was again credited with that stop. So involved very early is Ty Abella, and fired up, rightfully so, are the Aztec defenders.
Yeah, heading into this game, Abella had 7 total tackles.
2nd and 10 from the 42. A deep pass down the right side, one-on-one coverage over the head of the receiver and out of bounds. Josh Pinder, the intended receiver of Horton on that one.
Brandon Holmes had great coverage on that. He was sticking with the receiver that entire time. There was no separation on the side for Pinnacle. But big 3rd and 13 play for them, Brendan.
3 receivers lined up to the right side. And Horton takes the snap, looks to throw. A little bit of pressure. He rolls out left. A flag flies in on the field, and Horton runs with it, and he's taken out of bounds around the 40-yard line. Flag came in from the far sideline. We'll wait for the official call.
Holding against the defense. 10 yards.
So a defensive holding gives Pinnacle a break.
Before that penalty, Mason Alexander came off the line really well, got pressure on the quarterback, was able to get him out of the pocket, but of course the penalty is going to offset that. But you've seen the Aztecs be able to get some pressure. They're being able to get the quarterback out of the pocket, get him moving.
Discomfort a lot on that. Ball on the 44, 1st and 10 into Aztec territory. Horton takes the snap, and it's a handoff. Left side, running back still on his feet, down around the 30, goes Spencer Halverson. Listed as a defensive back. First and 10 once again, this time from the 29. Horton play action, fakes the throw, takes off with it. Tackled around the 25. Good job on both sides. Horton able to find a gap, but then the Corona del Sol defense able to crash on him and keep him from getting too far.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a run game that you're going to want to stop. I mean, the Pioneers have rushed for 399 rushing yards. They're averaging just under 200 yards per game. This is going to be a key focus, and I'm sure for head coach Jake Barrow was a key focus to how do you minimize, at least when they do run, how far they go.
3 receivers to the left, quarterback keeper. No, it's a handoff. Good deception there by both men coming out of the backfield. Mason Hughes gets inside the 15. Taken out of bounds around the 12-yard line. That's where they'll spot him. So still enough space for another first down opportunity for Pinnacle, as they've taken their fair share of time off the clock, now under 2.5 minutes left in this first quarter.
Just one drive for each team so far.
Handoff to Hughes. No, quarterback keeper again.
Ball came out of his hands as he fell to the ground. I think he was down. At the very least, he would have recovered it himself, but right at the goal line.
So enough for a first and goal in very short field territory. Not quite enough into the, or not close enough to get that touchdown call.
You know, the Aztecs started this drive really strong with their defense, but as the running game has been able to get stronger for the Pioneers, you can tell the defense is getting a little bit exhausted, a little worn out.
Horton in the shotgun, takes the snap, keeps it himself again, and cruises into the end zone for a Pioneers touchdown. I will give Pinnacle credit. Their deception in the run game is very impressive. Horton in the shotgun, takes the snap, keeps it himself again, and cruises into the end zone.
I was with the Aztecs on this one. I was looking at Hughes and I saw to the left. Oh, and look, a trick play here. Tosses it off.
Play, and the 2-point conversion is good. Cooper King listed as the kicker, and Pinnacle, for good reason, trying to get any extra points they can with how strong the Aztecs offense was.
And that was Horton who scored that touchdown initially, and that's going to be his second rushing touchdown of the season. But like we said earlier, that run game, when that keeps going, when you're able to have a run game, that passing game not only opens up, but the play action, your deception opens up. Everything centers on the run. At least I'm a big believer of the running game being. A lot nowadays, some people passing
the air raid offense you see in some scenarios.
I'm old school.
I think Coach Jake Barrow agrees with that approach. Ball booted deep into the end zone. It'll be another touchback out to the 20 for the Aztecs offense.
Kevon Thomas, who's a kick returner for the Aztecs, is actually one of my key players of the game. He's 5th in the state in average kick return yards with 53. He's had 2 kick returns so far, but they've gone a long way so far. So he's one player that I think if he does get the ball in his hands during a kickoff or a kick return, he could be dangerous.
I think Coach Dana Zupke of the Pioneers had that same scouting report, and maybe that's why they're kicking it back into the end zone on these first 2.
It's good to see when your key players that you wrote down, or they get involved, or at least you can tell you're on the right track.
Yes.
But for this drive, it's all going to be about answering back, because if this drive goes 3 and out, or it stops early, or you're not able to score, now you're just getting it back in the Pioneers' hands, and now their momentum shifts back to them.
A motion from the tight end help, handoff this time to Mustachia. either right at the line of scrimmage or maybe a gain of 1, but wasn't able to cut up field anywhere into open grass.
And I mean, there's a minute and 20 left in the first quarter. I like the fact they're sticking with the run. A lot of teams, you can panic really early, start passing and feeling like you're even if you're tied that you gotta, or they're down 1 point because they have the 2-point conversion.
3 receivers to the right for Ackerley, who looks to pass, throws over the middle. It's caught. Still on his feet. I believe that's the tight end, Jacob Helt, who was targeted last week. Yeah, standing at 6'1". And what a powerful force over the middle Helt can be.
He had 2 defenders on him, collide with him at the same time, and held onto the ball. Also, on Ackerley's part, a great precision pass to be able to get that in between 2 Pioneer defenders.
It was so close to the fact that I couldn't tell if it was an interception at first or not. Quick pass this time out to the right side goes Jai Jones. He's again caught up behind the line of scrimmage.
First quarter winding down here, but I'm interested to see how long the Aztecs stick with that really quick pass outside at the screen pass. They've been using Jai Jones a lot on that pass today. I'm interested to see, because the last 2 plays, it's been a loss of yards. So it's interesting to see how long they stick with it.
Pinnacle's been able to sniff that out a little bit here in this first quarter, which winds down to a close. And the first quarter ends with Pinnacle 8 points off the 2-point conversion, and the Corona del Sol Aztecs with 7.
In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization.
Hi, my name is Eric Perry, and I'm the proud owner of Eco Roofing Solutions. I've been in this industry for over 25 years, and I'm the current president of the Arizona Roofing Contractors Association. Our mission is to provide the absolute best customer experience, and we operate all over the entire state of Arizona. We will come out and provide a courtesy, no-obligation roof inspection to you, as well as an estimate within 24 hours. Our team is dedicated to providing the best quality product and workmanship, and we're here to serve you. You can call us at 480-695-7736 or check us out online at ecoroofaz.com. To learn more about
Welcome back as we start the second quarter. Aztecs now heading the other way. And a pass caught on the right side. A swarm of Pioneer defenders to stop Raiden Vinesbright.
Shows what we know. The last thing that we talked about was how long were they going to stick with that quick screen pass over to their wide receiver. The next play, they do it, and they get a good amount of yards. That's why we're up here, I guess.
That's right. That'll bring up, not sure if it's 3rd and short or 4th and short. We'll go with the sticks here that indicate 3rd and 1. Hand off to Mastachia. And he's tripped up and he goes down right at the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, the scoreboard says 4th down, but I do not believe that was a 4th down. I wouldn't think that would be the play that you would go with on.
So now we see it is now 4th and 1.
4th and 1.
And as we've seen a lot of times this year, especially in a situation like this, the Aztecs offense will stay out on the field.
No field goal attempts for their kicker so far.
Play clock now under 10 seconds. Ackerley, play action. Pass is caught by Jai Jones. First down and more down around the 38-yard line. And a big pickup there to keep the drive alive.
It looked early on like that was going to get sniffed out pretty easily. The defender was able to just speed right through, but from my vantage point, it looks like Jai Jones was able to just kind of evade it.
And once he got that first step, wide open up ahead for him.
With the way that Pioneers coverage was, there was no one else other. They were able to get their safeties and linebackers to come in and tackle Jones.
Ball on the 37, 1st and 10 Aztecs. Vines Bright motions slightly. Pass attempt from Connor Ackerley over the middle, over the head of Raiden Vines Bright, and over two defenders, one of which seemed to react as though he might have got a hand on it.
Yeah, that was close. Dominique Polito is the one that had his hands on it on that play. Just leapt up, had it in his hands, went right past him.
Play blown dead as the Aztecs take a timeout. Their first of the first half.
I think the Aztecs and head coach Jake Barr has to be feeling pretty good about where they're at right now. They're still moving down the field. I think a concerning thing you can feel is if you have a great start to a game and then something happens to where that stops, or you can feel like the team has figured you out. I'm not getting that sense with the Aztecs or the Pioneers defense. It seems that the Aztecs have still able to go down the field. They're using the passing game a lot more, especially going deep on that play.
I think that might have been something Pinnacle was anticipating, or not sure totally if that 2-point conversion on the first drive was more of a mind game or more of a preventative move for later in the game, knowing the capabilities of this Aztecs offense.
Yeah, it's tough when you're coming off a loss, because if for anybody who's watching, you might think like, oh, this team's not that dangerous because what they're coming off of. But the Aztecs are an extremely good team, very talented.
As we mentioned early on, a good point you brought up, Aaron, is Jake Barrow has not lost 2 games in a row in quite a while.
Yeah, in the regular season, he hasn't lost 2 games since 2019.
Those week-to-week adjustments, we'll see how that fares. Ackerley looks to pass, as a lot of time does. Right sideline, and it's caught by Mustachia. Inside the 15, steps out of bounds at the 14. We've got a whistle on the play and a penalty flag down in the backfield.
Offense, number 77.
I think a holding call against Corona del Sol, number 77, Colby Carbajal. That's just one of those plays that you have to be able to bounce back from when you see in past weeks those kind of penalties, especially when they were able to stacking up, really took the wind out of the sails of the offense.
Yes.
But Ackerley looks to throw again, feels the pressure coming, and he's taken down in the backfield, and now a 3rd and very long, now on the other side of the 50-yard line with the line to gain back around the 26.
Look how fast.
27.
Don't mean to interrupt you, but look how fast the game can change. 1 minute you have this big play down the field, you're right up in the red zone, and then over now, 2 plays later, you're on the other side of the 50.
It's a game of momentum. It just sways back and forth. Raiden Vines Bright with a small motion. He now runs over the middle. Ackerley out of the pocket, looks to throw, and he's hit, and then falls forward around the 46-yard line. So 4th and long for the Aztecs, and looks like they're going to have to punt it away this time.
And now it goes back on the defense. Now it goes back on, you're trailing by 1, but can you hold them to either a field goal or can you stop? You want to stop them entirely for sure. But yeah, that penalty was devastating for the Aztecs. Hitting that play down the field and on that same play getting the penalty from Carbajal. Those ones almost hurt the most. The ones that take away a big play.
Punt is caught around the 15, and a return out to around the 26. That's where forward progress is stopped. And now the attitude of the defense is one of those, or you're hoping at least it's one of those, okay, a rough set for the offense, especially after that penalty. Let's go out there and pick them up and keep this game within 1 point, hopefully.
And the Pioneers, the defense was able to come out and be able to, I wouldn't say figure out the Aztecs, but they were able to stop them and not let them score. The Aztecs have the same opportunity. We know what the Pioneers want to do. They want to deceive you with the run.
Horton takes the snap, and it's a handoff on the first play. A great stop by the Aztecs defense, Mason Hughes. Good call with the run game prediction there.
Doing some studying, before the game actually paid off, so that was good. It's a good sign.
No gain. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the same spot.
The defensive line has done a really good job of stopping the run. They have been pretty good on the run, the Pioneers have, but it's been mainly deception.
This time, play action over the middle. Pass is caught, but a nice job by Brandon Holmes to be right on the receiver. Unable to break up the pass, but able to keep him from getting any farther downfield.
And that was Mac Richards who caught that ball. And again, using the run, play action pass, and you get a nice big gain to get you down the field and almost to your 50-yard line.
1st and 10, this time from the 43. The Pioneers knocking on the door of Aztec territory here. Play action, a quick pass to the right sideline. And forward progress stopped back around the 39. That was an interesting decision by Pioneers quarterback Wyatt Horton. I thought if he would have kept it himself, he had a lane there to get upfield.
It almost gave the defense a little bit more opportunity to see where the ball was going. There were 4 defenders on that wide receiver when that ball got to him.
That'll set up 2nd down from the 41. Horton takes the snap, feels the pressure, escapes to the left, throws left side. Pass is caught by Mac Richards.
Mason Alexander, number 7, defensive end and middle linebacker, he got off the edge so well. He was touching the QB and was able to grab him.
He had a couple plays like that in the last game where he was so close and just couldn't quite get there in time. But
the good news, though, is that if that's happening, it's not a long way to getting your arms around the quarterback and figuring that out. It's a lot harder when you're not able to get to the QB.
Kevon Thomas was on the coverage on that reception. A handoff this time as the running back falls down around the 36-yard line. That would be Spencer Halverson. Seems to be their secondary back.
Yeah, when you have 2 running backs on your offense and you can pretty much just rest one and then have one come back, that's dangerous. That's a dangerous duo.
And as you just mentioned, Mason Hughes returns on this next play, taking the spot of Halverson. Lines up behind Horton. A backward pass, double pass, left side, a wide open receiver. He catches it short, a couple yards short, but Mac Richards was wide open. And it was kind of a sign of relief that he wasn't able to get all the way into the end zone.
I haven't watched a lot of Pioneers football, but
left side, a wide open receiver.
These key things they've been doing this game. Play action. Backward lateral to a pass.
A lot of different tricks up their sleeve. This time, running back Mason Hughes easily cruises into the end zone for a touchdown that puts Pinnacle up 14-7.
Mason Hughes adds another touchdown to his season.
A lot of different tricks up their sleeve. This time, running back Mason Hughes. Remember that 2-point conversion that happened on the last time. This time an interesting shift from the Pioneers offense. And this time, extra point attempt up and good. 15-7 now. Pinnacle leads it as we take a quick break and return in a moment.
Coaches, the Varsity Sports Show wants to be part of your team in 2023. We have a proven track record of providing the most coverage of your teams with Thursday and Friday night football. We will spotlight your players with multi-camera game broadcasts, pre- and post-game interviews, and segments on our Saturday morning radio show. With over 100 games broadcast in 2022, we will be exceptional for your team. Call, text, or email 480-220-4629 or info@varsitysportshow.com.
Corona del Sol Aztec football brought to you by the Varsity Sports Show tonight from Pinnacle High School in North Phoenix. The Aztecs now down by a little more than 2 scores, 15-7, as they get the ball back with 5:06 to go in the first half.
All it takes is one 2-point conversion, and look what happens. You're only up by 1 point at one point, but then only up by 1 point at one point. That's a very hard thing to say, but now it's 7-15. It's a little bit tougher for the Aztecs.
If you get into a late game situation, that could come back to cause potential problems.
And it puts pressure on the Aztecs too, because at 1 point they're going to have to probably match that.
1st and 10 from the 20. Ackerley looks to pass, feels the pressure, tries to take off with his feet, and he's brought down around the line of scrimmage. Credit number 55, Jack Franklin of Pinnacle. He's 6'4" senior defensive end with the tackle.
Pioneers defense looked really good there. The Aztecs had 3 wide receivers to Ackerley's right side going downfield all at once, hoping one of them would be open, but there wasn't a single spot for Ackerley to throw to.
A loss of 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 12 from the 18. 2 receivers to each side. The give. No, Ackerley keeps it himself. And he's able to gain maybe a couple yards. I think they called that a gain of 2.
Probably the best play in that scenario. If he would have thrown it to his wide receiver who was to the right of him, I don't think he probably had a loss of yards. Smart just to make quick runs, get down, see another play.
3rd and 7 this time from the 23. Ackerley looks to throw over the middle, pass just out of the hands of the receiver, Dominic Ruiz.
And they had the Pioneers defense had Dean Vincent Jr., a linebacker who leads the team with 6 sacks. He's 2nd in Arizona with 6 sacks. He's been getting a lot of pressure on Ackerley, and he slid up right there on the line and was pretty close to getting him today.
And with as close as this game has been so far, a 3-and-out, the Aztecs defense does not want to give up another score as we near the end of the first half.
Yeah, 3-and-out is almost kind of the worst case scenario in that moment. There's 3 minutes, 52 seconds left on the clock. Pioneers are going to be in any rush to get downfield. And the Aztecs haven't had it shown that they can stop that run game deception, but there is a flag.
Oh, delay of game, white.
An delay of game on the offense there, and now not a great sign in the penalty department or the discipline department, if you will, for what Jake Barrow has been trying to recover from the last 2 weeks. The punt is away, and Mac Richards back to receive, crosses the 50, stays without a defender in the area. He might be able to go all the way, and he does for the touchdown.
And once he got to the right side of the field, was hugging that sideline and was able to get down all the way for a touchdown. Not sure what happened there on the Aztecs in terms of their punt return coverage.
Without a defender in the area, he might be able to go all the way. So he was either going to the sideline or going all the way. There wasn't any other option between those two. Cooper King with the extra point. A flag comes in. Looks like it's going to be against the Aztecs.
Encroachment on the defense. Was that good? Was that good?
So an encroachment against the Aztecs.
You're going to decline, okay? Encroachment on the defense. Decline. Whoa, whoa. Yeah. All right.
Looks like there's just a little bit of confusion of if they're going to stay out for the extra point.
Encroachment on the defense. One on time down.
So I think maybe there was a debate there for Pinnacle as to whether or not they wanted to re-kick or try another attempt now with a closer shot to the end zone. And you wonder, as it looks like they're going to line up for an extra point, if there's going to be another deceptive play here, similar to what we've seen earlier. Nope, it'll just be an extra point attempt. The kick is up and good, and Pinnacle leads it 22-7. So the Aztecs will get the ball back with 3:35 left in this first half. And this is just a must-score drive for Corona del Sol.
Unfortunately, this is very similar to what happened last week as well. The Aztecs kind of hung around in the beginning, and then Centennial was able to just kind of start stacking points relatively quickly in the second quarter. But that also means, what did the Aztecs learn this week? They had to probably learn how, if this happens again, what do we do to get better?
In-game adjustments, the name of the game. And another deep kick. That one through the uprights.
A little curious to go for that field goal after the penalty, which would have also just given you the field goal as well. I definitely was expecting probably some deception or a 2-point attempt.
So Corona del Sol's offense comes back out at the 20-yard line. 3:35 to go in the first half. Down 22-7. Jai Jones motions from right to left. Ackerley looks to throw, dumps it off to Mustachio, who stays on his feet, and he's tackled around the 25.
The Pioneers defense just does such a good job of sticking with their players, even if an offensive player gets the ball or catches it or runs with it, they don't go for very long. They don't go for long yardage. Pioneers do a really good job of just sticking with their guy and tackling them relatively quickly.
The Aztecs do have 2 timeouts to work with as the clock winds around 3 minutes. Ackerley looks to throw, does. Quick pass intended for Raiden Vinesbright and broken up by the defense. Xavier Sanders of Pinnacle on the coverage.
Not sure if that was on the snap or if that was with Ackerley, but kind of a bobbled ball there with catching the snap.
And a quarterback's timing is so important that just even a millisecond off of the rhythm can interrupt the whole play.
And we've already seen a ball go over Ackerley's head, so something to look out for.
This time, Zuri Glenn in motion on the left side. Ackerley looks to throw, takes off with his feet. And enough for a first down. A flag comes in out of bounds. Some extracurricular activities there. And that was a big-time play by Connor Ackerley to keep this drive alive.
First down, we have a dead ball, personal foul, late hit on blue, number 20. So it's going to be from the end of the run.
So a big break, 5-yard penalty from the end of the run there. No, much more than that. It'll be spotted at the 50-yard line. And a 1st and 10 for the Aztecs. Now that clock looks a little more manageable from this spot. Ackerley throws to the left side. Jai Jones with the reception. Stays on his feet and tripped up as he falls down around the 38-yard line. It'll be spotted at the 37.
Yeah, nice play from Jai Jones. Just kind of that hitch route coming back to the quarterback. Got a flag on the play, it looks like.
Have a personal foul, blindside block on the offense. From the flag. Yes. What's the matter with your radio?
And the Aztecs go back, have a really good play going back now again. And now we're set up at 2nd and
12 maybe?
12, 13, yeah.
Must have been a flag from the end of the play. Passing play again. Ackerley throws left side. Pass is caught by Raiden Vinesbright as he goes out of bounds around the 36. And the Aztecs get those yards right back.
The Aztecs passing game getting a little bit better with down the field passes. We saw early on that they were doing a lot of screens, a lot of passes to their right and left to Jai Jones. Now they're starting, especially with the situation they're at with the clock, throwing deep downfield.
Clock did stop at 2:26. Play action. And brought down around the 31 is number 5, Zuri Glenn. Haven't seen him as active in the past game so far, but he's been a contributor in the first 2 games of the season for Corona del Sol. As far as yards, he's the 2nd leading receiver on the team with 130, averaging 65 per game. Jai Jones in motion to the right side. Ackerley looks to pass, rolls out, feels the pressure. Might take off with it. He throws. Jai Jones right at the 20-yard line and up for a 1st down. And that is a spectacular read and throw from Connor Ackerley.
Yeah, Xavier Sanders with the Pioneers did not think that was in bounds, but it looked pretty good on our end.
Just enough. Maybe it was even a toe tap, but just enough. And a smart play there to get out of bounds and stop the clock at 1:44.
And evade the pressure as well.
Quick pass to Raiden Vinesbright. Stays on his feet as he's tackled around the 15. A flag flies in.
1-6. 1-6. Holding from here. Previous spot. Previous spot.
Believe they said Dominic Ruiz was called for a hold. It'll be played from the previous spot.
Minute and 42 seconds left. Clock is running.
Excuse me, the penalty was enforced from the previous spot. And so now a long 1st down. And as Aaron mentioned, the clock continues to run a minute and a half. Ackerley scrambling. Might throw. He takes off with it. He might have got a yard on that from the line of scrimmage, but not a whole lot.
Yeah, Ackerley's doing a really good job of evading pressure, being able to move out to his left and the right, and to get at least some yardage in the play.
Clock stopped at 1:25. Ball on 29-yard line, 2nd and 20. 3 receivers out to the left for Corona del Sol. Ackerley looks to throw over the middle. Pass is intercepted. And one Aztec defender in the radar. And he's not going to get there. Pinnacle touchdown. Spencer Halverson.
Having a big game on the offense with his running and as well on the defense with his interception just now. 6 interceptions for the Pioneers for the season.
And this is starting to shape up all too similar to last week.
And on that play, he wasn't.
And one Aztec defender in the radar, and he's not going to get there. Pinnacle touchdown. So Pinnacle gets another touchdown with over a minute left, as they're up 28-7 before the extra point opportunity. And the kick is up and good from Cooper King. So 29-7 now for Pinnacle. And I mean, you still have over a minute. I think this isn't a sort of situation where you kneel and reset. I think you've got to go for it here for Corona del Sol, but
And it plays into their hands a little bit. The Corona del Sol likes to pass. They like to pass it deep down the field. You don't want to be in this situation, 29-7, but if you're going to be in this situation, the Aztecs are a good team that knows how to throw it downfield and find their guy. And looking on the sidelines here, you're not seeing a lot of panic. You're not seeing anything, especially on Connor Ackerley staying calm in there, getting ready for the next drive. And that's what you got to do.
And we've seen him do that a couple times where he's just able to reset and kind of move on to the next opportunity he has and make some big time plays. Just hasn't resulted in a lot of points. And a touchback again. It's just almost funny to see every single time they boot it back into the end zone. I think they are quite worried about what those two guys back there, Brandon Holmes and Kevon Thomas, can do. They've had some pretty solid and impressive returns in the first 2 games.
You know, if I was head coach, if I was Jake Barrow, I would probably say that yes, that interception was, what ended that drive, but penalties are consistently the things that are making these drives way more complicated. The reason he had to throw downfield was the 2nd and 20s.
Well, that's been the common theme in these first 2.5, if you will, games. And it's just puzzling to a point as Pinnacle takes their first time out of the half.
I don't know if necessarily, let's say for the rest of the game, if you wipe out all the penalties, how the game will change, but it certainly would help the Aztecs to not have to keep going back 20 yards, having to go 20 yards for a first down. If that's my biggest takeaway so far is on that opening drive, no penalties.
Right. That is a big takeaway, especially with, Coach Barrow, not to take any power away from anything that he said to us, but it's a common theme every time after every game and every time we talk to him. The discipline as far as penalties has been a concern.
It'll be interesting to talk to him after the game, if it continues throughout the game, to see what he thinks after 2 straight games of having a similar process keep happening with the penalties.
Right, and in the first game and maybe even a little bit in the second game, you could try to chalk it up to excitement, heading into the season, but at this point it's getting a little too far in to be making it that cause. Raiden Vinesbright with a big first down catch moves the chains. as the clock stops at 1:06. Pass play again. Ackerley's got to throw it out of bounds as he was feeling the pressure from Pinnacle.
Ackerley got very lucky there. Vincent Jr. was bounced off from the offensive lineman, was away from Ackerley, but when Ackerley started running, Vincent was able to catch up right near him to the back, so he threw it away just right in time.
Second and 10 from the 35. Another pass play over the middle this time. Jai Jones just not able to secure that ball.
The Aztecs will be able to move downfield here, especially if they're able to catch the ball. I mean, the Pioneers are dropping back in coverage. They're letting them have the short routes. With some of the speedy players on here, like Jai Jones, we've seen him be pretty twitchy in this game. There's a chance that even if you catch it 10 yards, 5 yards downfield, you can break off for a big run.
He had a wide open lane up the middle on that one. Ackerley passes over the middle. Raiden Vinesbright with the catch. And he's brought down around the 40-yard line. And that's a big play upfield, as we've seen a couple times for the Aztecs.
Yeah, and just like that, you're able to just get downfield, find the gaps where the Pioneers' defense is, because they don't want to give up the long ball downfield, and just take what you can get.
And it only takes one every time. You just got to go play by play there. Pass play again. Raiden Vinesbright with another catch. Stays on his feet. And he's brought down inside the 20.
43 seconds left in the game. Clock is stopped right now. You're in a good spot. You're going to have tons of attempts, 3, 4 attempts, maybe 5 attempts to be able to get a shot at the end zone.
The clock
is running.
Starts running again as they set the ball. And I think a timeout called by Pinnacle.
I think the Pioneers defense is definitely going to probably close in a little bit more, but you got a hot hand right now with Ackerley and Vinesbright.
That was their second timeout of the half. Maybe needed a little breather after that big play.
Yeah, you went down the field relatively quick. You want to give your offensive line a rest for sure. Even with them passing down the field relatively easily, they're still getting a lot of pressure on Ackerley, who's doing a good job staying patient in the pocket.
And the big man so far in this last drive and even before that has been Raiden Vinesbright. Seems to be such a talented receiver that can really get downfield in any situation. He is the leading receiver for the Aztecs with 248 receiving yards, 9 catches in the first 2 games.
I'll be interested to see what they do if they don't end up being able to score, if they end up going to a field goal. They haven't tried an attempt this season yet.
Quick pass from Ackerley. It's Helt with the catch. Stopped right away. But Jacob Helt's such a big target that it's hard to defend. We see him seeing one. They don't target him too often to get a lot of attention on him defensively speaking. But just seems to be always in the right place at the right time on certain plays. And another timeout called.
I thought the Pioneers were going to tighten a little bit up on their receivers and on the offensive players, but it seems like they are just allowing them to kind of throw into these holes and let that clock run and see what they can do at contact. The one thing I will say is that's about, I want to say, 2 straight drives where they've had the receiver come back, they've turned, do a little curl route. That's the same play that we saw the interception happen on. If you're going to keep doing that play, I worry that the Pioneers defense might be tuned into a little bit, but also that could be a chance for the Aztecs to try something different here if the Pioneers come into here expecting what the Aztecs are going to do.
So it looks like they'll line up with 2 receivers on each side from right to left, Raiden Vinesbright, Dominic Ruiz. On the other side, it's Jai Jones and Zuri Glenn, with Mustachia in the backfield along with Connor Ackerley. Pass play, Ackerley feels the pressure, able to roll out right. He throws it out of the back of the end zone as he just had to get it away and avoid a sack there. That'll stop the clock with 18.7 to go in the half.
That was a first down. There's no reason to try and do anything try and force it in there. It's a good play to just throw it away. There was pretty intense pressure. I will say on that play, Carbajal was doing a great job against Vincent Jr. Vincent is obviously leading the team for the Pioneers in sacks, a player you want to look out for during this time of the game.
2nd and goal from the 8-yard line. A little issue with the snap. Ackerley airs it out of the back of the end zone again.
I wasn't looking at the center to see if that was another snap, but that's the 3rd time so far that we've seen that the ball go. Once the first time was a ball over Ackerley's head, and that's the 2nd time a bobble has happened to the point that is kind of thrown off the rhythm for Ackerley.
It'll set up 3rd and goal. Ackerley gets the play. 3 receivers to the left this time as the Aztecs are lined up on the right hash. The keeper by Ackerley, and he's just short of the end zone. That was a good move of deception, similar to what we've seen from Pinnacle earlier tonight.
I thought he was going to get in. He was able to move out to his right relatively well. Didn't seem like he had a lot of defenders in front of him, but 3 Pioneers defenders just came up. And doesn't look like they're going to go for a field goal here. They're going to stay out on the field for this 4th down.
Especially on a 4th and short.
Yeah.
With the score the way it is, that's something you almost have to do.
Exactly.
I don't know if we'll see a pass play here. The Aztec faithful making some noise and a timeout called by Corona del Sol, as they'll think over maybe the play design and just try to figure out how they want to attack this short 4th down.
The Aztecs can definitely try and run it up the middle for sure. They don't use their running backs a lot in terms of just throughout their entire game plan. But, one thing that has been working, it didn't work on that last play, was getting Ackerley out of the pocket. See if he can just get something going with his legs. I expect them to go with something like that. I mean, the other defenders for the Pioneers are going to have to worry about Jai Jones, Vinesbright. Let Ackerley try and do something here with his legs.
Are you saying we might see a quarterback keeper? I don't think that's something we've seen up the middle this season.
I don't know
from
if it's
him,
up the middle, but they're doing. When Ackerley gets out of the pocket, he seems like he's able to get 1 or 2 yards. I mean, those are in different parts of the field than right here, but on that last play, he was just a little bit short.
Right. Well, they've got 1 shot at it on 4th down with 6 seconds left in the half. Lined up on the right hash. Trips to the right. No receivers to the left side. Mustachia in the backfield with Ackerley. The handoff to Mustachia, and he's in. Touchdown, Aztecs. A flag in on the play, however.
On the offense.
Oh.
Moving up.
So a penalty goes in on the offense. According to the PA.
Illegal shift. Devastating. I mean, that's exactly what we've been talking about all game, is these penalties affecting you and pushing you back.
I think it was maybe Raiden Vinesbright who motioned slightly.
7 yards to go on this drive.
And now it looks like they'll set up for a pass play here. Play action. Ackerley, back left corner. Passes caught. Is he in bounds? He is. Touchdown Aztecs as the timer sounds for the second half. And when you talk about momentum, that is exactly the kind of play that you want.
Great momentum. Running to his left, finds his receiver in the
A pass play here. Play action, Ackerley, back left corner, passes, caught. Is he in bounds? He is! Off the field. I was anticipating the question of whether or not they were going to do something with a 2-point conversion after that last, what would have been rushing touchdown. And now we'll get to see the Aztecs try their hand at it here. Ackerley takes the snap, keeps it himself, and he's stopped short of the goal line. So the Pioneers able to put a stop to the 2-point conversion, but it's 29-13 at halftime. The Aztecs with the momentum as they just scored the touchdown. And once again, 29-13, Pinnacle leads it. We'll be back for the second half in a little bit here on the Varsity Sports Show.
All right, everybody, so even though it's early in the season, we still don't feel like it's too early to take a look at some of our stat leaders across the Arizona high school football landscape. Let's get into it. So starting off with our passing yards leader in Arizona, how about Gage Baker from Paradise Honors in Surprise, who already has 1,057 yards passing. So our rushing yards leader is Jaden Plotkin from River Valley in Mojave Valley. He already has 517 rushing yards. Our receiving yard leader is Uriah Nellums from Santan Charter in Gilbert. He has 470 receiving yards already. And how about Adrian Robinson from Chandler Prep, who already has 11 total touchdowns this young in the season. Our leader in total tackles is Andrew Cullen from Scottsdale Prep Academy with 46. Currently, it's an absolute battle for the sack leader. We have a 5-way tie with 5 players having 6 total sacks, so we're going to shout out all of them. So how about Athewin Errol from Vista Grande, Dean Vincent from Pinnacle, Joey Alderete also from Vista Grande, Tristan Sanchez from Morenci, and we have JJ Brutus from ALA West Foothills. And last but not least, we have Ted Scow out of Buckeye, leading all Arizona high school football players with his 4 interceptions.
Hello everyone, this is Kyle Cooper with Varsity Sports, and I'm back again with another halftime segment. Now, let's shift sports and go to the NBA. The season's starting in just under 2 months. Let's take it to the podium with new Phoenix Suns guard Bradley Beal. Will he play point guard? Is Bradley Beal ready for his new role? Will he fulfill the passing duties of the point guard position? Will he continue to play great alongside other superstars Kevin Durant and Devin Booker? Will this be another super team that falls flat? How will sharing the ball work? And can the Suns finally win a championship? Finally, is Bradley Beal the real deal? All of these questions will be answered as the season starts. Now, Bradley Beal was an elite scorer with the Washington Wizards. Beal averaged 30 points a game just 2 seasons ago and shot 46% from the field over his career, along with averaging 4.3 assists. Bradley Beal has definitely proven himself in this league thus far, but the last season has to leave Phoenix Suns fans a little concerned. Beal only played 40 games of that season and suffered a left wrist injury which kept him out for the last 42 games of the season. He also shot a career low 30% from the 3-point line. And it's important to note that the injury was on his wrist, and Phoenix Suns fans need to keep that in mind because there's been players who have had wrist injuries and that's altered their entire career in the NBA. So another stat from last year is he actually averaged a career high 6.6 assists a game in those 40 games, which is very promising for Phoenix Suns fans, as he most likely will play some sort of point guard role for them. And passing will be crucial for Bradley Beal, as he'll need to dish it off to other superstars, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Sounds like as well Kevin Durant will be posting up a lot more this season. So that will give Bradley Beal a little more space, a little more freedom to pass it off to Kevin Durant down in the post, but he will also have to dish it off to Devin Booker and other players on the team. So we will see as the season progresses how this will all work. And Phoenix Suns fans might be having a little flashback of the Brooklyn Nets a few years ago with their superstar team and Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. And that was a complete mess. They did not win a championship. It was not successful. So it's one thing for a team to look good on paper, but does that translate well to the actual court and the actual play? So one of those members, Kevin Durant, actually had success with Golden State. You know, he won a championship with Golden State and was successful on a team with superstars. It remains to be seen if this will be either a superstar team that will fall flat or they will perform well. It really is championship or bust, especially after last year. Durant was even quoted saying how embarrassed he was after their loss to the Denver Nuggets in the playoffs last year. They certainly underperformed according to expectations of the fans and everyone in the league. They've got Bradley Beal, and they have a new head coach in Frank Vogel, who won a championship with the Lakers a few seasons ago. They need to perform extremely well this season and beat out the tough competition with the Denver Nuggets and the Los Angeles Lakers, who have their own dream team. And reading early predictions for the season, the Phoenix Suns are on a lot of those at number 1 to be the best team and to win the NBA championship. Big question still remains: who will play point guard? How will they navigate that role? Will Bradley Beal be the guy to fulfill that position with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and this dream team? Can Bradley Beal perform in this new position? The Phoenix Suns open up their season against the Golden State Warriors. What a matchup that will be. Chris Paul just traded this last offseason to the Warriors, the new look Warriors against the new look Phoenix Suns. All NBA fans will be watching that game. We will be seeing if this experiment will work with a new head coach, a new guard in Bradley Beal. Once again, this has been Kyle Cooper with Varsity Sports. Thank you for tuning in to this week's Podium Talk. Make sure you tune in to Varsity Live, which is our pregame and postgame show that ties in all of our games and coverage. We talk to players and our analysts who give a pregame preview and postgame recap on the show, and more content surrounding all of our coverage. Once again, this has been Kyle Cooper, and enjoy the rest of the games.
The Saguaro SaberCats enter their third week of action with convincing wins over ALA Queen Creek and Mountain View. But their Week 3 matchup might feel a little bit different because it's against an all-too-familiar opponent, the Basha Bears. The two teams matched up last year in the Open State Division Championship, with the Basha Bears winning a close 28-21 game. Last season, the SaberCats were led by star quarterback Devin Dampier, who transferred from Pinnacle. He had a tough game in the championship as the Basha defense made it extremely hard on him. He went 10 for 23 for only 72 yards through the air and an interception. But he did have a huge impact on the ground as he scored 2 rushing touchdowns, which accounted for 2 out of the 3 SaberCat touchdowns in the game. SaberCat running back Jaden Matthews was also a big contributor to the SaberCat effort in the championship game, as he had a 94-yard kick return touchdown. It really was a valiant effort from the SaberCats, as they would probably be considered underdogs for that game, and the game ended up in the hands of Devin Dampier with a late drive potentially that would tie the game, but the fierce Basha defense made the stop and ended up winning a 1-possession game, 28-21. Things this year, though, are different for the SaberCats. Quarterback Devin Dampier is now a New Mexico Lobo, as he was a senior last season, so they bring in Mason Bray, who's off to a really good start, leading to the SaberCats being 2-0, but they are returning a ton of players from the team last year, such as the aforementioned Jaden Matthews and Jacoby Spence. And Matthews and Spence are just a couple names that represent the several players returning for the SaberCats this year who now have championship game experience. But regardless, it does change up the team when you have a new quarterback at the helm. But for Mason Bray, it doesn't seem to be a struggle at all because he is off to a terrific start. Through 2 games, he's thrown 7 touchdown passes through the air and only had 1 interception while averaging over 270 yards per game through 2 games. But as an entire team, the SaberCats are clicking on all cylinders through 2 games. They're averaging more than 400 total yards of offense, as well as having forced 5 turnovers through those 2 games. In Game 1, they scored 49 points, and in Game 2, they scored 44, which means they're averaging 46.5 points per game. So why is this game so significant? Well, of course, the SaberCats want to avenge their loss last season, but also this is a season where in Arizona high school football, there are so many teams in contention to potentially win the state championship. So the winner of this game really could prove that they are in that contention. So it's a really big game for both teams. So even though the SaberCats are off to a scorching start, the same can't be said for the Basha Bears, as they've already lost a game. They entered today with a 1-1 record, having lost their last game at home 22-21 in a really close-fought contest to Highland. So just like in the state championship game, we expect this matchup between the SaberCats and Bears, the second one ever, as last year was their first matchup ever. We expect this one to be more of the same, closely fought, intense. So we'll see if the SaberCats can take advantage of being at home in this matchup and winning the game. So we're going to send it back to all our broadcasts after this halftime show, and we hope you enjoy the rest of this one and all the other games on the Varsity Sports Show.
In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization.
My name is Kyle Krikorian, and I'm a sophomore studying journalism at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. I am thrilled to join the Varsity Media Foundation as a technical director following Horizon High School football this fall. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kyle Krikorian.
Coaches, the Varsity Sports Show wants to be part of your team in 2023. We have a proven track record of providing the most coverage of your teams with Thursday and Friday night football. We will spotlight your players with multi-camera game broadcasts, pre- and post-game interviews, and segments on our Saturday morning radio show. With over 100 games broadcast in 2022, we will be exceptional for your team. Call, text, or email 480-220-4629 or info@varsitysportshow.com.
Hey everyone, my name is Jason Goldie from the Varsity Sports Show. I love sports and fell in love with sports broadcasting back in high school. I can't wait to bring you my unique perspective because I am on the autism spectrum and sometimes I view things a little differently.
Hi, my name is Eric Perry and I'm the proud owner of Eco Roofing Solutions. I've been in this industry for over 25 years and I'm the current president of the Arizona Roofing Contractors Association. Our mission is to provide the absolute best customer experience, and we operate all over the entire state of Arizona. We will come out and provide a courtesy, no-obligation roof inspection to you, as well as an estimate within 24 hours. Our team is dedicated to providing the best quality product and workmanship, and we're here to serve you. You can call us at 480-695-7736 or check us out online at ecoroofaz.com. To learn more about us, you can find me on Instagram at YourBeardedRoofer or at Eco Roofing Solutions AZ. We are proud supporters of our community's youth and the next generation, and we would love for you to come and join the hashtag Eco family today.
Call Eric and his team at Eco Roofing Solutions, 480-695-7736, and they'll give you a fast, free, no-nonsense estimate. Tell them Vince sent you.
Hi everyone, nice to meet you. I'm Ryan Sikora. I'm going to be one of the interns this fall at the Varsity Sports Show. So happy to be with you guys this year. I've loved sports for as long as I can remember, and I cannot wait to be with you guys on Thursday, Friday, and even some Saturdays all this year.
What's inside you? Unlocking the greatness inside you means digging deeper and going further than you can on your own. Banner Sports Medicine High Performance Center uses the latest technologies to train the athlete in all of us. Unlock the greatness inside of you.
Hey there, I'm Aaron Nemiroff, and I'll be joining the Varsity Sports Show for the fall 2023 semester. Sports has always been my passion, and I'm looking forward to working with the team. Check out my Twitter for a variety of sports content at Aaron2Tons.
What's inside you? Is it strength? Is it speed? Is it knowledge of the game? Unlocking the greatness inside you means digging deeper, running faster, and going further than you can on your own. Banner Sports Medicine High Performance Center trains the athlete in all of us with technology, techniques, and hands-on experience customized to you. See what you're capable of by unlocking the greatness inside of you.
Hi everyone, my name is Jackson Webster and I'm a senior at Arizona State University's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. This semester I will be joining Varsity Sports Show as a social media manager. I'm excited to promote and make engaging and informative content this semester.
Hey guys, Vince here to talk about Angel Dentistry. It's where my wife and I have gone for over 10 years, and we trust them with our routine and extensive dental care because they care. Dr. Amber Angel is an Arizona native, born in the town of Miami, and has been practicing in the Valley over 20 years. For general to comprehensive dental services, call 602-788-2008. Located off of Cave Creek Road just north of the 101 in North Phoenix. Angel Dentistry, proud supporters of our young people and proud partners of the Varsity Sports Show. When you think of family restaurants and sports bars, think Bonfire. Bonfire is part of the Tempe landscape, supporting local schools. Join the Bonfire Booster Club Challenge. Mention Corona del Sol, Desert Vista, Marcos de Niza, Mountain Point, or Valley Christian, and that school's sports program will earn loyalty points. The winner after football season will earn a fundraiser at Bonfire. Come for the food and fun, support the community. Bonfire, open every day east of I-10 on Warner. Show your game ticket all day Friday and Saturday and get 15% off. 480-306-6801.
Hello, Arizona sports fans. I'm Lofton Lechner, and I couldn't be happier to be joining the varsity sports team as a technical director for fall 2023. Follow me on Twitter at Lofton Lechner to stay locked in for the season.
In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization.
My name is Kyle Krikorian, and I'm a sophomore studying journalism at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. I am thrilled to join the Varsity Media Foundation as a technical director following Horizon High School football this fall. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kyle Krikorian.
Coaches, the Varsity Sports Show wants to be part of your team in 2023. We have a proven track record of providing the most coverage of your teams with Thursday and Friday night football. We will spotlight your players with multi-camera game broadcasts, pre- and post-game interviews, and segments on our Saturday morning radio show. With over 100 games broadcast in 2022, we will be exceptional for your team. Call, text, or email 480-220-4629 or info@varsitysportshow.com.
Hey everyone, my name is Jason Goldie from the Varsity Sports Show. I love sports and fell in love with sports broadcasting back in high school. I can't wait to bring you my unique perspective because I am on the autism spectrum and sometimes I view things a little differently.
What's inside you? Unlocking the greatness inside you means digging deeper and going further than you can on your own. Banner Sports Medicine High Performance Center uses the latest technologies to train the athlete in all of us. Unlock the greatness inside of you.
Half of Corona del Sol football from Pinnacle High School in Phoenix. The Pioneers leading it 29-13 as we start the second half here on the Varsity Sports Show. Paul Schultz along with Aaron Decker. And despite what the score indicates, Aaron, I'd say that coming into the second half, the momentum leans with the Aztecs.
Correct. I would say the exact same thing. They ended the first half with a touchdown to Vinesbright right as the quarter ended. I would still say there's a lot to fix still. You got penalties that you're going to have to correct. They've been having at least one penalty every single drive, and they're big penalties. They keep bringing the team back and making it a lot harder on this offense to go down the field. I think that's one of the biggest things that they got to fix during the second half. And then the second part is on defense. Just try and get one stop.
Right.
Focus on just getting one stop against the Pioneers, who are going to start off with the ball. Just show that you can do it. Start getting some momentum going your way and some confidence that you can figure out how to stop this Pioneers defense, or this offense, which has pretty much been going down the field with ease with their run game.
I think I saw every single one of those guys on this kickoff line jumping up and down or doing something to try and stay locked in. So I think the mentality's definitely right here. The opening kickoff just short of the goal line. It's taken out and it's tossed. No, it's a fake toss. Ball comes loose. And Pinnacle might have stayed back on it, but that was an interesting deception play, and then the ball came loose. I think Pinnacle did recover. Yes, they did.
I don't think these teams should be called the Pioneers. I think they should be like the Tricksters or something. Every single play is like it's some type of thing that makes you look one way. Like I've multiple times looked one way and the ball's been in another place.
It's almost like we need a glow-up football or something to keep track of it. I don't know what, but yeah, it's not easy with these Pioneers. So Wyatt Horton comes back out leading the offense. A whistle on the field, maybe an official timeout of some sort as we get the spot correct. Or I believe maybe the play clock hadn't started yet. Now here we are underway. Horton takes the snap and pass over the middle. Incomplete, just out of the reach of number 16, Keenan Johnson. And great coverage by the Aztecs. I think that was Kevon Thomas.
Good start on the first play for the defense. They were able to get a little bit of pressure coming off the edge on the right side. And then even though that receiver was able to get a little bit of an advantage over the defender, that pressure hurried that pass.
Ball spotted on the 18, brings up 2nd and 10. Pioneers line up with 3 receivers to the left. Play action again. Quick pass to the left side. Number 14, the receiver, tries to cut upfield, but he's taken up. That would be Josh Pinder, the 6'2 sophomore for the Pioneers.
Great support from him as well. There's another player that was almost going to tackle that player at the receiver at the line. Missed him, but Pinder was right there to be able to get it.
3rd and 7 from the 20. Little switch on the defensive line. Half motion, goes back. Quarterback looks to throw, scrambles, takes off. Is he past the line of scrimmage? He gets the throw off, so I guess not. Out to the right side, the pass is caught by Pinder again. So broken play turns into a 1st down.
That was a great opportunity for the Aztecs to be able to get off the field on a 3-and-out early and just weren't able to.
First and 10 at the 30-yard line. Trips left for Pinnacle. Play action. Horton feels the pressure, rolls out right. Almost tackled. He's got to throw it downfield and out of bounds. I think there's a little frustration there from one of the Aztec defenders that he was just maybe a second late to the ball there. Isaiah McKay, a little frustrated with himself.
Yeah, I wonder if there was a little bit of discussion. We didn't talk about this in our key first half stuff, but I would say like staying on your man and tackling him to the ground, I think, is a big part. We've seen a lot of missed tackles, a lot of passing right by the player that you're on. I would say that's something that we should hopefully improve throughout the game.
Finishing the play, that sort of idea, perhaps. Handoff, a deceptive handoff, that is, but the ball goes to Mason Hughes as he's able to gain 7 or 8. Spotted at the 36.
And here it is for the Aztecs. 3rd down. Can you get the stop? Can you get this team potentially off the field?
Aztecs set up to rush 4. Hard count attempt, perhaps, by the Pioneers. They reset. Pass play. Horton looks to throw right side. It's caught past the first down marker. And dragged down is the receiver, Josh Pinder again, who they've targeted quite a few times already here early on in the second half. Seems to be working.
Yeah, similar to what the Aztecs kind of did when they were going down the field in their final drive, is just find those gaps in the zone of that Aztecs defense. Surprised not to see more pressure on that play, though.
First and 10 on the 44. Handoff. Out around the 45. Tackled is Spencer Halverson.
Almost every single play that the Pioneers have done so far on offense does have a little bit of deception to it. That play was just a simple handoff, but even then, the quarterback went back, pretended like he was going to throw or dropping back for a pass. There's the tiny things that they do just to keep the defense off balance.
The lineup with a handoff out around the line of scrimmage. Trying to push the pile are the Pioneers.
I didn't see who the defender was that ended up tackling the running back, but that was a great play. He had his offensive lineman that he was attached to at that moment, took his arm out, brought him in.
I think Halverson got the carry on that one. Mason Hughes now back in at running back. At least it appears so. Yeah, he'll set up.
3rd and 8.
Comes into the halfback position. A flag flies in.
Defense.
I think that was just an issue with lining up in the wrong spot. I don't think I saw a jump off sides of any kind.
No, I didn't see anything. That will make it a 3rd and 3 now for the Pioneers.
It's a big break.
Huge break.
Ball on the Aztec 49. Pass play, quick pass play, caught by Mason Hughes. That's a big first down as the Pioneers march into Corona del Sol territory.
Huge missed opportunity 2 times on that drive, 3 times actually, to be able to get the Pioneers offense off the field to put them into a tough 4th down. The Pioneers have been converting 3rd downs pretty well during this game.
Got another first this time from the 35.
Pass!
Play action. Pass is caught as the receivers drag down inside the 25. That would be Mac Richards. And kind of, we saw from the defender on that one, kind of slapping at the ball after he caught it, wasn't able to get right on and kind of reactionary instead of
I like that,
jumping in front. It is a good A for effort, for sure. But yet another first down for Pinnacle. Quarterback keeper finds a hole, and wow. With two defenders on him, Wyatt Horton gets into the end zone for a touchdown. That'll make it 35-13.
I've seen a lot of quarterbacks rush in and use their legs to get into the end zone and to score a touchdown. I haven't seen a lot of quarterbacks have.
Quarterback keeper finds a hole, and wow. With two defenders on him.
That penalty. Now this time on defense, we saw a lot of it happen on offense. We didn't see a lot of defensive penalties in the first half, but they had one during this drive, and it really affected them and got the Pioneers.
Another two-point conversion attempt, and they got it again. The second time we've seen that tonight, 37-13 the score as we take a break.
Hi, my name is Eric Perry, and I'm the proud owner of Eco Roofing Solutions. I've been in this industry for over 25 years, and I'm the current president of the Arizona Roofing Contractors Association. Our mission is to provide the absolute best customer experience, and we operate all over the entire state of Arizona. We will come out and provide a courtesy, no obligation roof inspection to you, as well as an estimate within 24 hours. Our team is dedicated to providing the best quality product and workmanship, and we're here to
7 minutes and 10 seconds left in the third quarter as the Aztecs get the ball back. Be another touchback. They'll get it from the 20. And as if it wasn't a must-score situation before, the Aztecs, you could argue, had the momentum coming out of the second, or coming into the second half. Now it's got to put the pedal to the metal.
It's almost like you're trying to take the momentum back in a way, because we saw something similar where the Aztecs went down the field in the first half on their very first drive, scored, and the Pioneers took it back like that.
And they held it for pretty much the rest of the second half. Quick pass from Ackerley. Out of the backfield goes Dominic Ruiz. He breaks free around the 45 as he's taken out of bounds around the 48-yard line. That's the kind of energetic play you need to spark a drive here.
Huge play to start on their very first play of the half. Use a little bit of motion from right to left to get him to the other side of the field, and then just quick pass and let him do the rest.
There's no doubt this offense has the potential to be very explosive. It's just, as we've seen in the first three games, the penalties have brought him back. Caught this time the pass around. Wow, they're going to spot him around the 40. That'd be Jai Jones with the catch.
The Pioneers defense does such a good job of putting pressure on opposing quarterbacks that it really forces a team like the Aztecs to have to do these quick passes to get the game going.
Extra pressure coming. Ackerley sees it coming. He tries to take off with it, and he's brought down. I think they had an extra man from each side coming in on that blitz.
Yeah, he had two linebackers. He had two linebackers to his left and right, and really had no choice but to just move up in the pocket.
Second and 13. Pass play coming. Pressure again. Ackerley scrambles, and he's taken down around the 48-yard line.
Really great expectation for the Pioneers defense. Ackerley was looking to his left, and I don't think he saw that right before the play. A defender had snuck up right on his wide receiver and got into a press man coverage with him.
So Pinnacle bringing extra pressure, and that's maybe the only chance they've had to stop the quick pass plays, but it's worked on the last 2 plays here. Little motion from Jai Jones. Ackerley steps up in the pocket, throws over the middle. Raiden Vinesbright had his hands on it for a second and could not haul it in, and may be down on the field.
Yeah, we don't usually see a lot of drop passes from, especially in this game, from Vinesbright,
And
who is currently on the field.
The number 1 receiver, I think you could argue, for this Aztecs offense. One of his teammates right there with him, and now head coach Jake Barrow heads out there.
Yeah, it's tough to be in that situation where you keep getting pushed back. It seems like the Aztecs throughout this entire game, if it's not for penalties, it's getting pushed back, whether through a sack or just loss of yards from your receivers. It's a tough situation. It's tough to win games when you're facing 2nd and 20s, 3rd and 20s.
Coach Barrow heads back over to the sideline. Dominic Ruiz was there with his teammate. It looks like they're stretching him out. Don't want to make any, calls on this, but I mean, the heat still is a factor. There's a lot of possibilities for players to get dehydrated and cramp up and whatnot. And Vinesbright back on his own feet as he walks towards the sideline.
That's good to see for sure. Such a pivotal player for this offense, and do not want to lose a player like that.
Now, 96 degrees at just around 8:45 doesn't seem too bad up here, in the broadcast booth with no sun out in the sky, but down on the field that's been, absorbing the heat all day, and when you've been playing at such a high intensity, that can really catch up to you quick.
And not to say that that was anything that was on the last play.
Correct,
but I mean,
but just in general, yeah.
But when you're going through a game, dehydration's a big issue. We're just standing up here. Nothing. We don't have to drink that much water, but for the players, for sure, they have to.
So 4th and long, the Aztecs are going to have to punt it away here. Kick bounces out of bounds or close to the sideline.
No whistle! No whistle!
Yeah, no whistles have been blown so far, which is weird to see no one doing anything with the ball. I didn't see it touch out of bounds. It sounded like maybe you did, but I didn't. To me, it looked like it just hit the field, and then bounced back into the middle of the field.
And I think the ref, based on his motions, was kind of waiting for someone to maybe realize that was the case, as were some of the fans up here. And you wonder if that would have been a live ball.
Yeah, without seeing a replay, I wouldn't know if that ended up touching the out of bounds, and maybe the player saw it, but curious for sure.
The Pinnacle will get the ball back on the 13-yard line. They're up 37-13 with 5 minutes and 7 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. And the handoff right up the middle. Running back goes out to around the 20. And it's Mason Hughes. I think they'll call that a gain of 3 yards.
That was another situation where it seemed like the defender had to jump on the offensive line and was so close to being able to just wrap his arms around the runner and just came up a little bit short.
A handoff to Hughes once again through the right side toward the sideline as he gets down around the 25. And it's interesting, on some of these handoffs, we've seen Wyatt Horton hold on to the ball, like almost as he's running with Hughes as sort of an option or something. Not totally sure what they're doing there, but
I think it gives the defense, it gives them just a second where they have to think about what's going to happen next. And that second can equal something like that, where it's a long play or a good play.
That was enough for a first down. So on 1st and 10, through the air, over the middle, the pass is caught by Mac Richards.
Brandon Holmes was on him, and he had pretty good coverage, but just that pass was perfectly right outside of anywhere that Holmes could have been able to get.
And right now, it's kind of the worst of both worlds here, with Pinnacle marching downfield and running a lot of time off the clock. A long, drawn-out drive here in the third quarter where seemingly, we're now at 3.5 minutes, and it seems like it's been running by quite quick. Play action, throw to the right side, and that was a dangerously thrown ball there from Wyatt Horton.
Horton had about, I want to say, 2 to 3 defenders right on him, having their arms outstretched to try and block the pass.
And then good coverage from Corona del Sol as well.
Potentially looked like it could have been intercepted.
I think Jai Jones was one of the men close in the area. Plays cornerback in addition to his wide receiver responsibilities on the offensive side. 2nd and 10. Play action again. Quarterback feeling the pressure, and he's brought down, but a flag coming in.
Face mask on 56 White.
Taya Bella called for the penalty.
Another penalty going against the Aztecs. Second one that I remember from this defense. Second one for sure in the second half. And that was going to be a big play. That was 2nd and 10. They were going to sack the quarterback. Had 3 defenders pretty much tackling him at the same time. That was going to be a 2nd and 15, 2nd and 20.
You know, this would be, I think, a difficult stat to calculate, but if you could somehow go back over the last 3 weeks and look at not only how many penalty yards the Aztecs had, but how many points those penalties could have potentially resulted in. I mean, some of these scores would be a lot different if it weren't for these penalties.
I think it's time for advanced analytics.
Yeah.
Nice. I don't think a lot of people are fans of putting that in this game.
Quarterback breaks free of the pressure, throws left side, incomplete pass. Kevon Thomas on the coverage.
Horton was hit pretty hard on that play. Right as he threw it, he was plastered into the ground by the defender. No flag on that at all.
He's been roughed up a couple times on this drive.
He's shown a great ability to be able to withstand pressure.
Two receivers on each side for 2nd and 10. Handoff goes to Hughes. Gain of 2, maybe 3.
Clock still running. 2 minutes and 45 seconds left in the third quarter. But another third down opportunity for the Aztecs to see if they can try and get a stop. They haven't been able to do that all game.
Horton, quick pass to the right side. Hughes wide open, and he walks into the end zone. Touchdown Pioneers. It's now 43-13.
And that's a tough situation for the Aztecs. They brought pressure there, but obviously...
Horton, quick pass to the right side. Hughes wide open, and he walks into the end zone. Touchdown Pioneers.
You're sacrificing coverage. And the Pioneers have done a good job all game of being able to identify that and find the open guy.
And when you have a quarterback in Wyatt Horton who can get out of the pocket and find that open man, it makes it even tougher. Extra point attempt up and good. It's now 44-13 with 2 minutes and 16 seconds left in the third quarter.
And that's going to be Hughes' first receiving touchdown of the season. Adding that to his 5 touchdowns in the rushing game.
My apologies for that technical malfunction.
That was a bird that just flew by and hit you in the face, I think. That's what we'll say at least.
Yeah.
No one's got to know.
A lot of wires up here. You can get tripped up a little
Absolutely.
easily.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened to me yet.
So, I mean, this is just 2 weeks in a row now. We've seen this situation where the Aztecs have just, I mean, when you look at the perspective of quiet second half, it's been 3 weeks in a row. But
ever since that second half game against Casa Grande, they have struggled to really, they're scoring, obviously. They didn't score in that second half of that home opener, but they just haven't seemed to be that same team that started that game, that home opener.
And I think it's the reset button or whatever has to happen has got to come from within, because it's not, their schedule will not get any easier as they move along. Half of their schedule, as we've mentioned in past broadcasts, is teams that have made the Open Division playoffs last year. And the 6A runner-up in Pinnacle, Connor Ackerley, scrambles and takes off. Oh, the ball comes loose. Will they rule it down? Very passionate on the Pinnacle sideline in favor of a fumble.
To me, it looked like he was down. He had fallen down, but it's going the other way.
The referees officially call it a loose ball recovered by Pinnacle. I think that was the right call there. It was very close when he went down, but I think because of how far away, the ball was knocked out.
Yeah, he definitely could have bobbled it in the air for sure. That's a difficult position to be in as a quarterback, to be in the air and have to hold on to the ball. But now the Aztecs defense has to come back right away pretty much and have to try and defend this.
Handoff this time to a new man in the backfield. That'd be number 47, Miles Stephanie, the junior running back.
Going back to that fumble, it's going to be a really tough position that the Aztecs are in now, because the Pioneers know that you're going to have to pass the ball. And so now that pressure now gets not only added onto Ackerley, but the defensive pressure that the Pioneers are going to bring is going to be way more intense, as we saw on that fumble.
Well, and if you can blitz 2 plays on each set of downs, like Pinnacle has been able to do, it's very difficult to get those passes out.
Let's go!
The ball comes loose again on that one, and Corona del Sol gets it back. Look at that defense. They are fired up, and you wonder if this spark is finally what could turn it around and head things in the right direction.
Huge. I mean, coming out, you only had the defense had one play to rest, and now they get back and they recover a fumble and get the offense back.
A Pioneer player, it appears, down on the field. Going just statistically speaking, we haven't been keeping track, but just as of memory, that might be the first stop of the night for the defense, or drive where Pioneers have not scored.
It does feel like that for sure. It feels like the Pioneers have been able to just go downfield and score. I think their score definitely reflects that for sure, up 44-13.
Now, purely mathematically speaking, it's going to be a tough hill to climb, but I think just the next couple of drives, you got to take them one at a time and just see how you can respond to a big play like that. if you're the Aztecs offense. A wide spread from the 4 receivers as Helt motions right to left. Ackerley looks to throw, feels the pressure, steps up and runs left side, past the 20, still on his feet. He goes out of bounds around the 30. That'll be enough for a first down.
We've seen that from the Aztecs a lot during this game, even though the score might not represent it. They've been able to get down the field, especially on their own side of the field, rather quickly with deep passes or runs. It's that other side of the field that they have struggled with.
And that is a very, you may have heard the term baseball IQ. I know that's used a lot in baseball. That was a very heads-up football IQ or quarterback IQ play by Connor Ackerley for sure to run out of bounds. Another pass play, shuffling around and throwing it incomplete, is Ackerley, intended for Raiden Vinesbright coming across.
Not a lot of pressure on that one. He had a lot of time to be able to throw, but there was just no one open downfield. Vinesbright did a good job of trying to come back to his quarterback, try and find an open spot, but just wasn't able to connect.
Right, well, that's the give and take. The pocket was closed enough to where Ackerley couldn't really have a clean run, but every receiver was covered. So no gain, no loss. 2nd and 10 from the 30. A handoff this time. And stopped, I believe, behind the line of scrimmage is Quentin Bradley. I think that might have been his first carry of the night. We saw him in the second half of last game a lot. And the clock continues to wind, now around 20 seconds left in the corner. The Aztecs probably could get one more play off here. Ackerley looks to throw, steps up in the pocket, fires over the middle, caught by Raiden Vinesbright. He breaks free, down around the 30, he's still on his feet, into the end zone. Touchdown Aztecs. Raiden Vinesbright with another long touchdown catch.
A lot of mileage on that play. I mean, that play started when he caught the ball in the middle of the field. He ended up on the left side of the end zone, avoiding defenders.
Zone touchdown. And though it's 44-19, you're down 25 points, but you've got a quarter to go. And with plays like that, that's the sort of stuff that gives you some hope in the fourth quarter. Now we see Connor Ackerley stays out on the field, and they'll go for it here for the 2-point conversion. Vinesbright with a little motion. Ackerley looks right, throws. Back corner of the end zone. It's caught. Did he stay in bounds? Yes. Taylor Helt converts the 2-point conversion. And it's 44-21 with 4 seconds to go in the third quarter.
It seems that whenever Held has the ball, it's a big play. It's like he's the guy they go to when they need a play and they need it to work.
Now, on the total yards list, he's got 72 receiving yards. And I think he was only targeted in one game before this one, according to Max Preps.
Yeah, he was heading into this game. He had his receiving yards per game were 72. So yeah, for sure that was. I think if you're looking at a silver lining with where you're at, you're down 44-21. I'd probably say that you have in this half done a lot better job of being able to seemingly slow down the Pioneers at times. You've had a lot more third down opportunities to be able to get them off the field than you had in the first half. And so if you think of it that way, just correct that. Just get a little bit closer and stop them on these third downs.
Well, it seems like all this action has come in the last couple of minutes of this third quarter. So maybe starting to turn it around. They go for the onside kick here, and the Pioneers able to fall on it around the 50.
Yeah, the Pioneers player actually, he was kind of went almost through his legs, kind of had to catch it with his legs.
That'd be Joe Day. Just maybe not enough action or not as much as you'd like. The ball not rolling around as much. But now it comes down to the Aztecs defense. Can they get a stop? Down 44-21. One more play here in this third quarter with 3 seconds left on the clock. And the Pioneers 1st and 10 from the 49. Horton takes the snap. They'll hand it off. And tackled at the 45 of Corona del Sol is Mason Hughes. That play will end the third quarter. The score 44-21. We've got 12 minutes to go, but I'll say the same thing I said last time. This game is not over, and the Aztecs have not given up yet. We'll take them back.
I've been in this industry for over 25 years, and I'm the current president of the Arizona Roofing Contractors Association. Our mission is to provide the absolute best customer experience, and we operate all over the entire state of Arizona. We will come out and provide a courtesy, no obligation roof inspection to you, as well as an estimate within 24 hours. Our team is dedicated to providing the best quality product and workmanship, and we're here to serve you. You can call us at 480-695-7736 or check us out online at ecoroofaz.com. To learn more about us, you can find me on Instagram at YourBeardedRoofer or at EcoRoofingSolutionsAZ. We are proud supporters of our community's youth and the next generation, and we would love for you to come and join the hashtag Eco family today.
Call Eric and his team at Eco Roofing Solutions, 480-695-7736, and they'll give you a fast, free, no-nonsense estimate. Tell them Vince sent you.
Minutes left on the clock. Aztecs down 44-21 as we return to game action here at Pinnacle High School. Paul Schultz along with Aaron Decker for the Varsity Sports Show. And this is a big possession, or a big moment for the Aztecs defense. Handoff up the middle to Hughes. He's brought down past the first down marker around the 37.
It's still early in the fourth quarter, but, I would have to think that the Pioneers' main concern is to try and also wind down that clock. And unfortunately for the Aztecs, the Pioneers have a great run game, and that feeds pretty well into being able to run the clock.
So that's another tough challenge for Coach Barrow is how do you manage the clock and use your timeouts with the potential of what we saw from the offense on that last drive. Quarterback keeper pass to the right side. Receiver cannot stay on his feet. That's Mac Richards with the catch.
Barrow's mad about something, kind of talking to the ref, asking arms wide out, wondering what's going on. Not happy about how that play ended.
Not sure if there was maybe a flag that he was wanting or what exactly. 2nd and 10 from the 37. Quarterback keeper fakes the throw past the line of scrimmage and gains about 3 or 4 before he goes out of bounds, which stops the clock at 10:49, but a decent pickup there. And I mean, I'm not a total expert on high school kickers here, but inside the 35 might be within field goal range.
Yeah.
But
especially with the lead that they have right now, I might as well try it.
Right. Aztecs got to get a stop here on 3rd and 5 to try and force that. And Pinnacle calls a timeout here.
You know, one thing I think going into the next game, or even just to finish off this game, is definitely to have a focal point on wrapping up opposing players on the offense. There was a play right there on that very last play was Jamar Patterson. He was so close to Horton, could have wrapped his hands around, brought him down, but just Horton was able to just get away from him.
I think it's overall, maybe the message is just go back to the fundamentals, play football, and don't worry about, who your opponent is too much. Obviously, you've got a game plan for that, but go back to the basics and what you did right in the first quarter, in the first half of that first game.
That's the good thing for the Aztecs is they know that they have something that works against this team. It's not like they're being shut out right now
Right.
or having a hard time scoring. They're just not able to match up with what Pinnacle's able to do on offense.
Speaking of, we'll see what they can do on offense here. It's a 3rd and 5 from the 35. And the Aztecs defense needs a stop to potentially force a field goal. Quarterback rolls left, throws deep. Pass is broken up. And that was a big, big stop for the Aztecs defense.
That was tough. Linebacker Isaiah McKay had a pretty good pass rush on there, and a lot of fans aren't happy about perceived getting possibly held. Refs didn't call it, but the referees in the stands don't agree.
Credit Brandon Holmes for breaking up that pass, though, in the end zone. And 4th and 5 with the lead that they have. Pinnacle's going to go for it here with an empty backfield, and this is a tremendously big play for the Aztecs defense here. Can they get a stop? They try to rush 4. The pass over the middle is caught. And I think he is past the first down marker. Yeah, they're going to spot him about 3 yards past the first down marker, and that would be Keenan Johnson, the wide receiver.
Kudos to the Pioneers offensive line, who did a really good job of being able to not let any pressure come through and give Horton a chance to be able to make a calculated throw down the field.
I think the Corona del Sol D-line, we saw him spinning around
Yeah.
both ways trying to break through. Trying to create that pressure with only a 4-man rush, but just not able to do it before Horton could get the ball out. This time it'll be a quarterback keeper again. Runs up the left side, and he's taken out of bounds finally around the 11-yard line.
We're just about to get under 10 minutes in the game, or left in the game here. Clock is stopped currently at 10:05. But it is going to become a point, especially if they score here. I mean, when they score here, it might be time to, start looking a little bit into next week possibly.
Right,
but
right.
in football, there's always a chance. But time is going to become a component here.
Handoff again to Hughes. He pushes forward around the goal line. And will they stop him for forward progress? Yes, they will, just short.
Mason Hughes, 180 pounds, seemed to be like every defender on the Aztecs on him. It was probably just about 3, but there were a lot.
So 2nd down from the 1-yard line. The flag comes in, I think a delay of game? No, defense. Wow, encroachment on Corona del Sol. And that just ties a bow on the continued issues with penalties that we've seen.
You see a lot of Aztecs players when these penalties get called, they kind of look around and are just like, what's going on? Like, I think it's affecting them as well. Like, it's to this point that they can feel that, like, this is getting a little bit too much even for them.
So not much to move up the line. I guess 2nd and inches would be the call. Horton takes the snap, hands it to Hughes, and he's in for the touchdown. And that puts Pinnacle up 50 points on the board on their side.
Flag called.
Horton takes the snap, hands it to Hughes. And there's no reason to stop giving him the ball. He's just been practically unstoppable.
Yeah, it's not just the Aztecs having a hard time stopping Hughes. It's been all the two other teams have so far had a really hard time figuring out how do you stop Mason Hughes.
Whistle is blown by the officials.
It's just talking about the run game real fast. The Aztecs opened up the season against Casa Grande and were able to hold them to 48 rushing yards, but against Centennial gave up 253. So it's stopping the run has become something that the defense needs to focus on.
On blue, on the kickoff. Yes.
So some sort of penalty that's enforced on the kickoff against Pinnacle. The extra point attempt here. 9:17 left to go in the game. And it's up and good. 51-21, a 30-point lead for Pinnacle.
And I look at moments like this in a game where it's a situation where you kind of, I don't mean to say you start looking into next week in terms of actually like thinking about next week, but you still have to, there's still things to work on, and you don't just give up at this point.
Maybe you scheme differently than you would
exactly
if the game was closer. I mean, you do the quick math there, 30 points, which would be 5 touchdowns. No. Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
I'm not a math major.
I'm
not a math,
am I. I'm
so
trying.
You're alone on this
I'm
one.
trying
Sorry.
to do it, but not quite.
I could have easily just done a calculator on that one, but even then, I messed things up.
A little over 4 touchdowns is what we'll go with. But again, only to emphasize that the game plan changes a little bit.
And there's things that you can still get better at, and things that you can still be coachable throughout the rest of this game that could help potentially heading into next week.
The first kick of the game for Pinnacle that bounces inside live ball territory. And Brandon Holmes brings it out around the 35, and I think that right there is the reason why they haven't kicked it inbounds all game, is because of how skilled he is in the return game.
Yeah, the Aztecs have a really good duo being able to get downfield on kick returns. They just have not had a lot of opportunities this game to showcase that. But still remember, the Aztecs on their last drive scored. They can do it again here, and they can really put pressure on Pinnacle.
Pass play for Ackerley, feels the pressure, lots of time, finally fires to the right side. And his receivers immediately tackled at the 42. I believe Raiden Vinesbright.
Looking at the positives on this, yeah, you definitely, that connection between Ackerley and Vinesbright is very solid, as well as Jai Jones as well. those are things that you may not be working right now or leading to a win, but things that down the season only are going to get stronger.
Low snap. Ackerley sits in the pocket, dumps it off over the middle. Across the 50-yard line would be Quentin Bradley. Don't see him a lot real active in the pass game, but he lines up now again in the backfield. Didn't see if he came out of the backfield or if it was an empty backfield on that. Ackerley looks to throw, feels the pressure, and he's swarmed and taken down.
And that's a really tough position for a quarterback to be put in, where you have on the edge, you have pressure coming that way, and then your defensive line isn't able to protect you in the middle, and pretty much there's nowhere to go.
The clock runs now, about 7:40 left in the game. Connor Ackerley throws out to Quentin Bradley on the right side. He gets back across the 50-yard line to the 49 for a short gain of 2 yards.
They were at a 3rd and 16 on that last play, according to the scoreboard. But looks like it'll still be a 3rd down. Maybe a little issue on their side. But now a 3rd and 12.
Low snap. Ackerley throws over the middle. Raiden Vinesbright with the catch. And I think forward progress was enough for a first down, by about 4 yards.
Continuing with some of the positives that we can look at, Ackerley's arm looks great. He's able to those are just missiles that are going in between receivers who are or on each side of them have defenders usually.
We've seen the pocket collapse on him a couple times, though, and I think that powerful Pinnacle rush is it's been a lot to handle as Jacob Helt, another big catch for him, and perhaps you wonder now, maybe you're resetting the next game if you get him more involved early next game, because, it's a nice surprise weapon to have, but it seems like every reception he's had has been for positive yardage. Jai Jones with the catch this time, steps toward the line, stays in bounds, and he's brought down around the 7-yard line. So, this offense in open space is extremely explosive. It's just when you've got a blitz coming, there's not much they can do. Hand off to Quentin Bradley. Stopped about 2 yards short of the end zone.
Late in the game, obviously there's 5 minutes and 38 seconds left in the game. It's going to be a different type of game, and the defense is going to play very different as well. But what's the thing that we haven't seen on this drive? Penalties. We haven't seen a lot of penalties here, and the Aztecs are going downfield.
Quarterback keeper for Ackerley, and he's tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Credit Blake Donnelly, the defensive lineman of the Pioneers, on that one. Timeout called by the officials as a substitution is made. .5:01 to go in the game. And Corona del Sol calls a timeout now. Their first of the half, as they are in the red zone. Must have not been getting the play that they wanted into the offense.
Yeah, it seems from what we've seen, that was a pretty long time for the Aztecs to get set up and to be able to get their play call in. Definitely probably was not what they were looking for, or something they saw in the Pioneers defense didn't line up with the play they wanted to do.
Might have been also trying a new scheme or something along those lines that they couldn't get set up quite the way they wanted to.
Right. And I mean, previously on that last play, it ended up with Ackerley being sacked. So you don't want to put your quarterback in a position if you don't know if you don't think this play is going to work to possibly get sacked.
Out of the timeout, 4:47 to go in the game. Aztecs still down 30 by a score of 51-21.
The Aztecs have done a really good job when they are in the red zone this game. The problems have been when they're trying to get into the red zone and they get pushed back with penalties or sacks. But when they're in the red zone, they do a really good job of being able to complete the drive and score. So they're in a good spot for what they've been doing so far this game. But it does seem like there's another stoppage.
A discussion between the officials around the line of scrimmage. And while this short break occurs, we talked about moving forward into the next game. And I think we alluded earlier to the fact that the schedule doesn't get much easier. And for the fans out there taking a guess as to who's up next, the good news is it's a home game. The bad news is it's Chandler High School, who has historically been a powerhouse in the last couple of years.
They're currently beating their opponent, Orange Lutheran, 35-10 right now. Not sure where they're at in the game. It's the fourth quarter for sure, but they're up.
And they are 2-0 going into that game, I believe, right?
Correct. 2-0. So they're going to get a Chandler team that probably is going to be very similar to the teams that they've been facing tonight and the week before, which are teams coming off of wins, relatively good wins in terms of their score margin. So this team's, the Aztecs are going to continue to be tested. They're going to have opportunities to get better. But it's moments like this where it's late in the game. It's probably not going to end up going your way. You're probably going to walk out of here with a loss. But what can you take out of these 4 minutes and 47 seconds on offense and defense that'll be beneficial for you against Chandler?
Another timeout called as Coach Barrow comes out onto the field, and he's very fired up about something as he brings or asks the head official to come over for a quick chat. I think one of his coordinators is right there with him with whatever is going on. That's something that I've noticed in the last 2 years with Coach Barrow is that no matter what the score is, he's not going to give up on his team. He's not going to lower the energy or lower the passion any. And I think that's exactly the same mentality he wants his players to take.
I mean, just in this conversation that we can see on the sidelines with the refs, he's not backing down or anything. He's having a pretty hearty conversation with the refs. There's a lot of spirit in what he's saying right now, or seems to be saying. So he's definitely, like you said, not giving up, and that rubs off on the players in the locker room to see that their coach, even when they're down by 30 points, isn't going to just let this slide or let the game just keep going. He's going to keep fighting for them.
Well, this is a tough spot because for Coach Barrow, included in this, Corona del Sol in this second season, leading up to the way this season started, they didn't have the way the season unfolded was not similar to this, I believe, in that there wasn't a whole lot of massive blowouts. I think they lost 3 games over the course of the season last year.
Are you talking about last season?
Yeah, last season.
Yeah, I mean, so the opponent that their first loss of the season last year was against Chandler, who they play next week.
And that was a big one, wasn't it?
Yes. Unfortunately, this might not be the news you want to hear now, but it was a 50-0 loss. But yes, they were able to string 7 straight wins after that, and so they were on the other side of the token, and they were having pretty good win margins.
I remember that game at Chandler last year was, I think, one of maybe a few, but definitely one of very few rainouts or rain delays, I should say.
Was it one of those games that took a long, like the rain delay was long?
I
heard there was
want to
game...
say it was like 45 minutes or something like that.
gosh.
Yeah, it was significant. Yeah, for sure. And it's one of those, I mean, not to compare it to the ASU game where the second half was a lot different from the first, but I think after that rain delay, it was even harder for Corona del Sol to come back from that. But it's a new season for both teams, and again, the Aztecs looking to pull whatever they can out of this game to get ready for next week. We've had quite a long break, and I don't understand what the discussion is.
So the referee team has gone over had talked with head coach Jake Barrow, and has now been over at Pinnacle's coaching side and having a conversation with him. So I don't know if it's something to do with. We didn't see a penalty, so there's no penalty on the play.
I would imagine there's some sort of like sub rule or something maybe that they're going over. Like it's got to be some very fine detail of some sort. I can't imagine what else it could be.
You know, one thing that's unfortunate about this is actually coming off a timeout from Corona del Sol, and so Corona del Sol had a timeout probably to go over a play, and now you're stagnating. The defense has had time to rest now.
Well, you see Connor Ackerley over there talking to one of the coaches, trying to stay locked in.
It doesn't look like either of the coaches are happy with whatever the refs are saying. I saw one coach walk away, seemed pretty disappointed on the Pinnacle side. So I don't know what the conversation necessarily is about, but the refs don't have any friends with the coaches right now, it looks like, in terms of just the body language. But since we are at this point of the game, we will just take a second just to look at the opponent that Corona del Sol will face next week. We've talked earlier. They're going to be playing Chandler. They're 2-0 heading into their game today. It looks like they will walk out of that 3-0 against the Aztecs next week.
See, just in case we have like an official announcement here, I don't know if there's something that will come of that. A lot of chatter. Oh, and now the officials coming back over to Coach Barrow to discuss whatever's been going on. So because of all this, we'll take a break and return once this is all sorted out.
When you think of family restaurants and sports bars, think Bonfire. Bonfire is part of the Tempe landscape, supporting local schools. Join the Bonfire Booster Club Challenge. Mention Corona del Sol, Desert Vista, Marcos de Niza, Mountain Point, or Valley Christian, and that school's sports program will earn loyalty points. The winner after football season will earn a fundraiser at Bonfire. Come for the food and fun, support the community. Bonfire, open every day east of I-10 on Warner. Show your game ticket all day Friday and Saturday and get 15% off. 480-306-6801.
Hello, Arizona sports fans. I'm Lofton Lechner, and I couldn't be happier to be joining the varsity sports team as a technical director for fall 2023. Follow me on Twitter at Lofton Lechner to stay locked in for the season.
In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization.
My name is Kyle Krikorian, and I'm a sophomore studying journalism at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. I am thrilled to join the Varsity Media Foundation as a technical director following Horizon High School football this fall. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kyle Krikorian.
So not totally sure what happened there, but it is now sorted out. 3rd and 4 for Corona del Sol. Ackerley fires right side. Zuri Glenn toward the pylon, and he's just short.
He was right on the goal line. At first, I thought he probably was going to get the touchdown on that, but it just seems like he didn't get the ball across the line where he was tackled. The ball was probably unable to get across.
So 4th and 1. Aztecs down 30. And what you would expect, the offense staying out there. On the right hash, and off to Bradley, and he gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Corona del Sol.
Nice little deception of their own for the Aztecs, the little fake handoff. Ackerley went in looking like he was going to run the ball in and then handed it off to Bradley.
On the right hash, and off to Bradley, and he gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Corona. Being able to run plays cleanly like that is just, it can't hurt you for sure. So 51-27 now the score, and they'll try to go for 2 again with just under 4 minutes to go. Ackerley looks to throw, steps up, fires over the middle and out of the hand of Zuri Glenn. So incomplete, 51-27 the score, 3:59 to go in the game.
Pioneer defender Xavier Sanders got his hand on the ball on that play. Had some pretty good coverage matching his receiver and was just able to deflect it.
Getting ready for the kickoff now, and the question again is, can this Aztec defense get another stop? I think they've still only had 1 in this game.
I think we'll see a heavy dose of run on this, even if I would think so that they would try and run the ball to run out the clock. And we've seen some high school teams will definitely still try and pass, even when they have a large margin for their victory. But even then, a good test for the Aztecs to see if, like you said, can they eventually get a stop?
So again, we talk about practicing execution of things, and here, from what it appears, it'll be another chance to see what they can do with an onside kick. And a flag comes in.
Dead ball, encroachment on the receiving team. You crossed into the zone before the ball was kicked.
So encroachment, they'll re-kick it. They get to move it up 5 yards to the 45.
Penalty's going to be against the Pioneers. Aztecs at the 5-yard explosive.
And Another attempt at the onside kick here. Luke Hawley. And not enough past the line. Draw a flag. Not quite 10 yards.
Three minutes and 59 seconds left to go in the game. Aztecs will be on defense here, and yeah, you just want to see something. We talked in the when the half ended, the first half, that momentum they had going into the second half. It didn't go their way, obviously, but you can have momentum going into next week, the game, into your next practice. Leave this field with something positive.
I think you wonder when you have 2 games in a row with such big scores, how much of a concern or cause for concern does the focus shift to the defense? Snap, handoff, and Mason Hughes, out to the 44.
And I think you were mentioning this a little bit earlier, but yeah, so the Aztecs have given up 2 straight games in a row now. And it's looking like they're going to lose 2 games in a row here, where they have given up at least 50 points. Last year, they only did that once, and that was against that Chandler game that we talked about earlier that had that rain.
Hughes gets the handoff again, breaks free, and it was close. He almost went all the way there. He's finally brought down around the 7-yard line.
And that's a tough one because in this part of the game, you expect them to run the ball. You expect that that's exactly what you're going to get. And for you to know that that's what's going to happen and have that run break out is tough. It's tough to swallow.
First and goal now for Pinnacle. Handoff to their third string running back. He stopped short of the goal line, and that is Gavin Hammond.
With that run, the clock is now at 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game and continues to tick.
Wyatt Horton takes the snap, hands off. And a good stop that time by Corona del Sol.
Yeah, they did a great job of just stuffing right in the middle of the defensive line, going up the middle and meeting the running back right as he crossed the line of scrimmage.
It's a tough gamble, if you will, for the defense because when they bring extra guys in, they're able to create pressure like that. But then you, again, as we talked about before, you give up a little bit on that in the event of a play action or pass. And a handoff again, up the middle, flag in on the play, but the tackle made by the Aztecs. And holding against Pinnacle will be the call. 1:32 left in this one. Pioneers leading 51-27. Pass play, aired out, back of the end zone, touchdown Pinnacle. Jack Bridgeford with the touchdown catch. And the Pioneers are up 57-27, back on top by 30. Extra point attempt up and no good. Off to the left side. So it'll stay a 30-point game, 57-27 with a minute and 6 to go.
6 o'clock game time. The JV team will be here, and the freshmen will be out at Horizon High School just down the road. And then the varsity teams will play.
Now Pinnacle, assuming they hold on with the 30-point win, will move to 3-0. They'll play Horizon next week at Horizon in Scottsdale. I believe one of our Varsity Sports Show broadcasts will have that game. As we mentioned earlier, Corona del Sol falling to 1-2, and they will take on the powerhouse Chandler Wolves at home next Friday at 7 p.m. A team they lost 50-0 last year, hoping for some redirection. A big return there for Kevon Thomas, and he's takes a big hit around the 23. A minute and 1 second. As the offense gets the ball back for the Aztecs, Ackerley looks to throw, fires right side, Jai Jones. He's taken down around the 33. Clock will continue to wind, now under 50 seconds. Ackerley throws left side, caught. Quentin Bradley tackled immediately around the 46, or correction, the 44. And the clock now around 15 seconds. This, in all likelihood, the last play of the game. Quick pass over the middle. Caught Raiden Vinesbright. And the clock continues to wind here. And they get the play off. Ackerley throws over the middle. Pass is caught. Dominic Ruiz. He's taken down around the 34. And that's how this one will end. 57-27. The Pinnacle Pioneers move to 3-0. The Aztecs fall to 1-2. They'll take on Chandler, who's assuming they'll stay undefeated as they're winning their game. They'll be 3-0, and as I said, the Aztecs will fall to 1-2. They'll be back at home next week to take on the Wolves at 7 p.m. Final score, once again, 57-27 from Pinnacle High School. And on behalf of our entire group, my broadcast partner, Aaron Decker, I'm Paul Schultz. Thanks for watching Corona del Sol Aztecs football.
In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation.